Alrighty, hi everybody. I just want to thank you guys for your patience yesterday and your cooperation with our class today while I'm out on retreat with 8E. So we're going to do this in two parts. You're going to learn part of it through this video, and you'll have some practice problems to work on the remainder of class, and then tonight for homework to get it submitted before class time tomorrow. And then tomorrow we will finish up the other half of what the notes are. So take a moment. I want you to go into Notability, go into Schoology. Find your notes for 3.5 for perimeter and slide them over to Notability. And then your first slides should look like what you're seeing on this screen. And you can kind of split screen and have this presentation on one side and then your notes on the other side, so you can kind of follow along and then fill in the pieces that you'll need to fill in as we move forward with this. All right, so from here, what I want you to remember and kind of think about is perimeter for shapes is adding up all the sides. Okay, so that's number one. Okay, that's the first piece that we have to remember is that we are adding up all the sides no matter what shape it is. Okay, so no matter what shape it is. What I have up on the screen for you are the main shapes that we work with. Okay, so we have squares and we have rectangles. So those are the kind of the big ones because they have specific perimeter formulas. So a square, we know all the sides are equal, and an easy perimeter formula for us to work on is 4s, 4 times the sides. And then for a rectangle, we know it has 2 lengths and 2 widths opposite of each other, and they're equal in size to each other. So we normally say for perimeter of a rectangle, 2 times L plus 2 times W. Anything else really doesn't have anything specific for it. We just add up the sides as we move. All right. So our steps, again, very familiar to what we have done for let statements throughout our time, okay? With these ones, I would say a picture is going to be very helpful. So there's no chart here. Drawing a picture kind of helps because you can put things into space, okay? Definitely a let statement to tell us what it is that we're looking for. Some kind of equation to match one of those perimeters. Solve it, get an answer. These are now going to be working on finding sides of these different shapes. So our answers should be positive numbers. Okay, we're not going to have negative numbers here. We can't have a negative length to anything. And then if you go to the next page, you're going to see the first example. And I know all the work is up here for you, but I do want to go through it with you step by step as you're transferring over to your notes. So as we're reading, because that's what's most important, it says the length of a rectangle is 3 times its width. The perimeter of the rectangle is 24 meters. Find the dimensions of the rectangle. So you know what I like to do is highlight and underline things that are important for us to realize and to work through. So that's kind of what you're seeing here, is kind of going through each of these different pieces. So I drew my rectangle. And within my rectangle now, I'm going back to my question, and it talks about the length is 3 times its width. The length is 3 times its width. So that's what tells me my let statements. That's what tells me what I can label and my unknowns. So I'm looking for that comparison, which is to the width, which means width is X. And then 3 times that gets me my length. From there, I want to fill into my equation. I'm dealing with perimeter of a rectangle. So 2 times the length plus 2 times the width. Perimeter is 24 from the question, so I fill that in for the P. Two times my length that I just did from my let statements. And plus 2 times my width. If you want to use W, you can. That's not a big deal, but just so you have it. Solving that, so 24 equals 6x plus 2x after I evaluate. Add those like terms up. 24 equals 8x. Divide by 8. Get down to an answer of x equals 3. Remember, I'm finding dimensions, which means I want to find the length and the width. So I go back to those let statements, substitute in that 3, and I get that answer of my width being 3 meters and my length being 9 meters. Remember, at any point you can pause if you need to copy something, if I'm going too fast. Okay, you can always rewatch if needed. All right, the next one says, in an isosceles triangle whose perimeter is 144 centimeters, the length of each of the equal sides is 4 times the length of the third side. Find the length of each side of the triangle. So isosceles, okay, important. Okay, isosceles tells us 2 sides are equal to one another. Triangle has 3 sides, so obviously that's important. And then what I underlined says that each of the equal sides is 4 times the length of the third side. Okay, so again, that comparison. So one of the sides is x. Usually for an isosceles triangle, the unequal sides is the base. 4 times that gets me my equal sides, so 4x and 4x. Got my let statements. 4x are my equal sides, or both equal sides. X is my base. Perimeter, again, is just adding up the 3 sides. Side 1 plus side 2 plus side 3. No special formula here. Tells me my perimeter is 144, so I'm going to stick that in for the p-value. Side 1, 4x. Side 2, 4x. Side 3 is x. Add them up. 144 equals 9x. Divide by 9, both sides. We get x is 16. Again, right back to our let statements. So 4 times 16 is 64. And then x is just 16. All right, so that kind of wraps up what I wanted you to see for today. I know that you have 2 more examples on these notes, and we will tackle those tomorrow. It's pretty much the same idea, except it's talking about like one shape being transformed into another shape. So we'll tackle that when we're together tomorrow in class. What I would like you guys to work on, I know you have some time now in class, there's a homework assignment. 3 questions on the worksheet that's there, and then submit that to me before class tomorrow. And then we'll go over those, obviously, as well. And then just another reminder is that you will have a test on Friday on all these word problems. 2 money value, 2 investment, 2 perimeter. Remember, all written. And if anyone's not here on Friday, again, no big deal. We'll set up some makeup time for next week. But just keep that in mind. Obviously, you'll have to make it up. Okay? So try your best with those 3 questions. They should kind of mimic the ones we've done for the most part, so you'll be able to kind of use those as a guideline. All right, and then if you have any questions about this information, we'll definitely go over and answer them for you for tomorrow. And if you need to go back and rewatch, feel free. Okay, so just make sure that you have the notes into your notes, and then we'll pick up from this tomorrow's class. Okay, thank you guys so much. I appreciate your patience, and I will see you tomorrow.